Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this Android Studio series, we are going to see about card views. Card view is basically a UI element provided by Material Design. So let me get into Material Design website and check about card views. So it's basically a UI element which is actually a container of all the other UI elements. For example, the image view, the text view, and the button. So it is actually a container so basically you have different types of card views: elevated cards, filled cards, and outline cards. So this is elevated cards, so you can see the shadow behind, which is used in most of the applications right now. And you also have filled cards, which is like you would have a different color texture inside and you'll have another color in the background. So this is a filled card. And when you see outlined card, so you'll have the same colors of the background, but you'll have an outline for this card view. So let me get into the code and show you about how to implement a card view. So here I have created a project named CardView. So here I'm going to implement it. So to use a CardView from Material Design. So let me search, or let me type for it. So you can see that this is a androidx.cardview.widget.cardview, which is actually a default card view. So if you are wondering about what is a default card view and what is a Material Design card view is, let me explain. So here, Material Design is one of the Google's product. It is built by users and developers by themselves, and it is free for the developers and designers. I've explained about this in the previous video. If you wanted to know about it in detail, just watch the first part of Material Design. So right now, this is a default card view. So basically, when you get into Gradle script inside build Gradle module app, here you can see that you have implementation of material right inside this. So this is actually nothing but it is implementing the Material Design's UI into our application. So basically, if you are running older versions of Android Studio, you should manually download these dependencies by getting into the website, and you'll have some code. You have to paste them here. But in the updated version of Android Studio, you don't have to do that. It will do the work automatically for you. So within here, you will have both the default inbuilt card view, inbuilt button and everything, but you can also use the Material Design's card view. So now let me type in card view again. So here you can see Material Card View, which is actually from the Material Design. So here when I hit in it, it is asking me about the width and the height. So let me say match parent and the height to be 100 dp or 200 dp instead. Yeah, this looks good. So once I do this, I am good to go with the next thing. So I wanted a margin so that we can have a good looking card view. So I'm going to add a margin of 20 dp. This looks good, but I have to have a margin top. So for doing so, I should constrain it to the parent layout. And once I constrain it, I can see that I have this issue being fixed. So with inside, I'm going to change this into a open and closing tag, and with inside here, so this is basically a kind of layout. So it's going to contain all the text views and image views that you're going to work in. So you can also have this as a constrained layout, but I'm going to work with this as a relative layout. So let me create a relative layout, and let me say match parent and match parent, and let me close this tag. So within this tag, I'm going to say I'm going to have an image view right inside this. So I'm going to say 250 dp. I'm going to just check about how much dp is going to work for me. Sorry. 250 dp, 250 dp, and another 250 dp right here. So this is actually, you can see the blueprint right here. So it's actually taking half of the card view. So I'm going to have a 150 dp and a 150 dp right here. Yeah, this looks better. So now I'm going to have this in the center. So I'm going to have a margin top. So let me add a margin top. So margin top to be 20 dp and margin left to be 20 dp. So now that I have the image view set right here, so once I have it, I have to have an ID, because with inside the relative layout, if you wanted to work, you should have an ID for each and every element. So let me create an ID for this element. So basically, in whatever layout you're working, you should have an ID, but I didn't have any ID right here. So if you are in need of an ID, you should definitely create an ID. So let me say image for this ID, and once I put that, let me close this image view. And I should say I should have an src for this, because I cannot have this kind of image, right? So I'm going to have an image. So in order to use your own image within inside of the application, you have some set of rules to follow. So basically, you should have your image to be a PNG or JPEG or any file format of an image, and it should only contain small letters. It should not have any capital letters, so that the app would not be able to find the source. So if you wanted to use your own image within inside of the application, you should paste the image within inside of the map folder, which is inside of resources folder. So here I'm pasting my image, which is having a name of img.jpg, and right here I'm going to say img, which is all small, so img, which is inside the map folder. So basically, this is going to be a sample image, so I'm not going to worry about how this image actually looks like. So now I'm going to also add some text view inside. So let me say text view to be wrap content and wrap content, and let me add a text to this, which is going to be name example, and I am sure that this name should come up to here. So let me add an ID for this name. So let's say name, add size for this text, so let it be 15 dp, and I wanted this text to come up here, so I'm gonna give to right off image, which is the ID of this image view, and I'm going to add a margin of 20 dp. But this would have an issue, because if I add another text view underneath, it would add a 20 dp, so I should not have that. So let me just say margin top to be 20 dp and left margin to be 20 dp. So once I do this, let me copy this text view and paste it once again, and here I'm going to have this name to be father name, and after changing this, I wanted to change this ID to be font name, and after changing this, I should say below of name. So yeah, sorry. So once I do this, I can see that I have a margin top of 20 dB, but I don't want 20 dB to be the margin top, so let me change it to 10. So this looks good. So let me change this father to father name, and I should also add mother name. So let me copy this text view and let me change this ID to be mother name and the text to be mother name, and it should be below father name. So after adding this, I'm going to add a button. So let me add some margin top here so that I can add a button or something right here. So let me add a margin top of 50 dB or 40. Yeah, this looks good. So here I'm going to add a button. So let me add a button right here. So button wrap content, and let me add text to be click here. Once I had this text, I can change the background color. So let me add a different color, a custom color from here. So I wanted this button to be in the end of this card view. So let me add end of parent to be true and parent bottom to be true. So I wanted some margin here, so I'm going to say margin right to be 20 dB, and I'm going to add margin bottom to be 20 dB. It would be better if I add 30 dB for this. Yeah. So once I add all these, or I can have this next to the image view so that it would look better. So let me change this margin right, and let me also take this align parent, and here I'm going to say to right off image, and let me add a left margin to be 20 dB. Yeah, this looks good. So after doing all these codes, right now we have to work in our Java file. So let me open main activity. So I've added an ID to this button. So on this click of the button, we are going to show a toast message to the user, and we are also going to add another on click listener, which is for this card view. On the click of this card view, we are going to get the user into another activity. So let me get into the Java file, and here I wanted the ID for this card view, so let me also set an ID for this card view. So ID card view. So once I add an ID for this card view, let me get into the Java file and let me say private card view and private button btn. So once I add both of these, I'm going to find them by their ID. So let me say card view is equal to find view by ID and card view, and btn is equal to find view by ID btn. So after assigning the values, now I'm going to set an on click listener for this button. So in our previous video we would have seen about new onClick listener, view.onClick listener. This is also one method, but you can also use another method called view directly, and here within the braces you can start coding, which is also a kind of code, so you can use both of them. So I'm going to go with this for now. So I'm going to simply show a toast message to the user, which is going to say you have clicked the button. So on click of the button it should show a toast message, and on click of the card view, so basically our card view is also extending a view class, so if you want to you can check the documentation. So you can see that we have this view class right here. So it is actually extending the view class. So you can also use onClick listener for this card view. So let me get back to main activity, and here I'm going to say CardView.set onClick listener new view.onClick listener. Here I'm going to get the user into another activity on click of this card view. Basically we see this in a lot of applications. If you're not sure about what I'm talking about, you can see that we have this example right here. So here we have a lot of different card views available. Don't worry, we'll be also seeing things like this in our future videos, but for now we are just creating one single card view. So on the click of this card view, it should show us some additional information to the user. So we cannot show all the information in this card view itself. So we would send the user to another activity which will have all the information about the card view in detail. So here in the package I'm going to right click. I'm going to say new. Here I'm going to click in activity. Right here I'm going to create a new empty views activity, and I'm going to say this is second activity, and let me hit on finish. So we'll be talking about how to create an activity in the future videos, so you don't have to worry about it right now. So after creating the second activity, I should redirect the user to that activity. So here, in order to redirect the user to the second activity, I'm going to write some code here, which also I will be explaining in the future videos. So for now, let me say intent equal to new intent main activity dot this, which is the context of this class, and here I'm going to say the class that I'm going to write the user to. So I'm going to say second activity dot class. So once I do this, I have to start the activity. So start activity intent. So on the click of the card view, the user would be redirected to the other page. So in that page I'm going to add some simple UI elements so that you can identify that this is going to be changed. So let me just do that quickly here. So once after doing all these, I am good to go. So here, after this, I'm going to get into the second activity. Here I'm going to say button equals to find view by ID r.id.button, which is going to be, I'm going to set an onClick listener, and here within here I'm going to add a toast message, which is going to be saying that say button clicked. So yeah, so we had successfully created a card view, and after creating the card view, we are connecting the card view. On the click of the card view, we should redirect the user to another activity. So let's test our application. So here we have our application running. So you can see our card view right here, which is a outlined card view. So for now, when I hit in this button, it says you have clicked the button, and when I hit in this card view, it actually opens me the second int activity, which is also working fine. So here I can see the button being clicked. So when I go back, my home application is showing. So we have our application working successfully. So that's it for this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.